Today's reading is John chapter 15, verses 18 to 25. As I was thinking about this passage, I was thinking, this is actually a really challenging thing to read. It speaks about persecution, rejection, that the same sort of extreme responses Jesus got, we should get. So what are we supposed to be? Are we supposed to be such obnoxious Christians that people have to respond in some way? I think we probably know people who have taken that to heart. It made me think about this. 10 years ago, last year, I got married. We were going to have a big kind of celebration for our anniversary, and COVID just kind of did for it. This wedding ring cost me £1 from Topman. It's pure stainless steel. But obviously it speaks of so much. It speaks of my relationship, my identity as a husband. It speaks of the one to whom I am promised. It speaks of a lifestyle and a commitment that I've made to love and serve another above myself. I got married at 22. And I remember really vividly starting to work in a coffee shop and people seeing my ring. And at first, because it's quite chunky, I used to take it off to keep my hands a bit cleaner, because that's good food hygiene practice. And then I got a bit lazier and started leaving it on and just washed my hands a bit more. But there were so many conversations that I had about this with people who were my age or even a bit older, who just thought it was the craziest thing to get married at 22. Who thought it was just silly. Won't I change as a person? Won't my likes and tastes change, including in people? Don't I want to be free and try before I buy elsewhere? Of course, we believe that marriage is a space where people can know and experience love and grow together, and it's incredibly rich and beautiful. But it created a strong reaction, because to choose to be committed to someone, to love someone, it jarred against the culture. And it jarred against other people's expectations, people who are my own age. My friends from school were confused by it. But of course, they didn't all react negatively. There were some that saw the romance in it, just thought it was the most cute thing. There were some that spoke about how they longed to have the same sort of commitment and relationship, to find someone that they would at an early age commit to and say, yeah, this is what we're going to do. The age of marriage gets older and older in our culture. Divorce rates seem to increase. And this past year of pandemic has put so many pressures on relationships. And actually, I know for many of us, marriages are painful right now. And I don't share my kind of 22-year-old enthusiasm to upset people or be insensitive to where people are at and how hard things are in relationships right now. But that commitment to another, that relationship, changed my relationships with everyone else. And people responded to it, because to make that commitment was a story. It changed how I interacted with other people. If we love Jesus, if we commit wholly to him, we make vows and promises that should shape and change our whole life. And people will respond to that. But maybe the question for reflection today is, are people responding to that in your life? Does the one that you love so define you that it causes a response in people? And if not, what would God be saying to you about that today? As you read these challenging verses, I pray that any of you who are experiencing difficulty and opposition maybe even in your relationship with someone who isn't a believer. I pray that God would bring peace and wisdom. I pray that he would just give you unending reserves of grace and love to shower on that person. For those of you for whom relationships have been painful and difficult during this season and things have snapped, I ask that God would, in his love, restore you and replenish you today. And for those of you who maybe think, I'm not sure just what loving Jesus, what sort of difference that makes in my life and in my work, again, I pray that Jesus would give you wisdom and show you the ways that you can love him in such a way that it overflows and transforms your other relationships.